What has been your biggest duck up leading up to this point in life? I tried to walk across a guardrail and ended up slipping and hitting my gooch in just the right spot that it tore my urethra. Had a catheter for about 3 months after that. Choosing the wrong degree multiple times. A few years ago finally decided on computer science. And I ducking hate it. Only have like 8ish classes left, so I would be stupid not to finish it, but I have no desire to do anything computer science related. Quitting a job before I had another one long story, which led to my savings being drained and my credit card debt soaring through the roof. I've recovered about a year later, but my savings are basically non-existent as I spent all of my excess paying down debt. Tried to kill myself when I was 24. Did the whole inpatient thing in therapy. Now I'm 28, still living with my parents and struggling to win the battle with my mental health. Really frustrating. I just want to be a functional adult. On my 16th birthday my much older brother killed himself. My regret is that I had called him to ask him to come out with my friends and I to celebrate at a local restaurant. But on the first ring thought he probably doesn't want to hang out with a bunch of 15 to 16-year-olds and hung up the phone. They found his body the next morning. I will never be whole again. Staying with someone for way too long because I thought I could help them. I was 25 when I met her. She was broken and very needy. She had a lot of issues with herself. Mainly she always felt insecure and inadequate. For those times when she was okay, everything was amazing and she was the best person to be around with. But those times were rare. She was jealous about anyone and everyone. I didn't even hang around my friends anymore because she would make me feel guilty later on and she could never get along with them. I always thought I could help her, but only after everything fell apart did I realize that in my effort to always be there for her I broke myself. We broke up 2 years ago. I'm now 33 and just starting to fix relationships that I've abandoned because I was too focused on her. I don't blame her at all because that was my choice, but it's been hard. Holding on to hate and resentment about my dad has duckied up mentally. Instead of dealing with it in a healthy way, I've held on to the hate and resentment and have blamed him for everything wrong in my life. I'm in therapy now and trying to unlearn toxic behaviors. Losing friends because I didn't put effort into maintaining the relationship. Nobody tells you when you're a kid just how hard it is to make new friends once you're past your college years. 5 years ago, in my last semester at college, to become a props and paint person for TV and film. I went to college at 30 when I finally figured out what I wanted to do with my life. I helped a team lift a very heavy set piece. It was too heavy. We didn't have enough people, but we got it to where it needed to be. Turns out that lift ducked up both of my wrists. For life. Spent the next 2 years after graduating trying to fix them. Figure out what was even wrong. End result. We don't know what's wrong. We can't fix it. Look into long-term pain management. So now I can't work the industry I wanted to be in. And I also can't even do a lot of the stuff I used to do. Can't lift anything more than 15 pounds without it hurting. I finally got a part-time job at an escape room. I could have been working in TV, or at the very least, theater. But I can't bend my left wrist, and any sort of repetitive actions hurts like a methodica. Guess what needs full mobility and functionality of my hands? Making props and painting sets. Alcoholism from age 19 to 23. 5 years sober now. Life is exponentially better now. Glad I made it through all that edit. Can't believe how big this comment got. To anyone struggling, I encourage you to get help in a way possible. Admitting your problem is a huge first step. To everyone, Ellie. Thanks for keeping a positive message, keep spreading that positivity. And thanks for the gold. You're too nice. Having an existential crisis leading me to drop out of college, quit my job, let my car get repoed, racked up crazy debt, trouble with the law, trouble with alcohol, and just saying duck it by riding my bike across the country till I ran out of money and my parents had to buy me a plane ticket home before I starved. That was over a year ago, and I'm still in limbo. Took a very large dose of a research chemical thinking it'd be like acid. Went clinically insane for like a year and require inpatient hospitalization. Took me 2 years after that to build my life up and have a career, but I was never totally the same. Such is life. I wanted to take 6 months off to volunteer before going to college. I was dating a girl I loved who was now a senior in high school. When she graduated, she was going to join the army. So I decided it'd take 18 months off for volunteering, hanging out with her, and working odd jobs. The semester I was going to go, my school messed up my grant paperwork and paperwork for a $750 book scholarship. Said they would not be able to fix it before the enrollment deadline, so I had to put it off another 6 months. Since I wasn't working saving up money, I started school 2 years behind my friends and peers without a cent gained, and the volunteering hasn't been much of a resume booster. On top of all this, 4 months after I started school, my girlfriend I was putting it all off for dumped me. Later found out she was cheating for the last 6 months of the relationship too. Starting smoking at 16. It'll be 27 in May. I haven't touched a cigarette in almost 10 months. I couldn't stand the smell of them when I did, and I sure as hell hate it more now that I quit. Not taking care of my teeth. I didn't take dental health seriously for a lot of my life, and now my teeth aren't in great shape, especially my 2 broken molars, and I'm going to need a lot of dental work done to correct that duck up. Becoming depressed, lose interest in life and passion, etc. School results get worse and start to not bother and procrastinate badly. I went from an average A student to a C average. Different system here, but this system most people get in 2 years. Left school not going to uni because I don't know what the duck to do. Didn't get a job in my first year out of school and have no personality apart from a 3-month job which I quit. Now I need a job, but I'm one of those person who doesn't portray themselves well and have no experience, meaning any job I like I get rejected on, and now just got a job as a checkout assistant. Now looking around at all my friends and schoolmates, they all have jobs, traveling and doing well at uni. Not only that, but everyone seemingly has their sorted and does stuff and has a passion, etc. Whereas I've just rotted away for 3 to 4 years depressed just staying in my room. Was going to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin in 2010, which at the time would have been somewhere around 1200 Bitcoin. I was fairly poor at the time, so I decided I should spend the money on bills and food instead. Looking back on it, I should have starved for a week and let some bills go to collections. Not taking college seriously and going to professional/grad school afterwards. I was smart, capable, and had financial support. Even had a full ride to a prestigious private school for undergrad. But I was super immature and had no ducking idea what I wanted to do. Played pool all day and concentrated on dating as many girls as I could. Now, 20 years later, all my college friends are medical doctors, pharmacists, and lawyers. I mean really, like 15 or 20 of them, and I'm not by far my biggest regret in life. And to be clear, I'm doing just fine with a great life, and my wife is a pharmacist. But I often think about what I could have done, career-wise. Trying to pursue a career in professional gaming led to 3 years of homelessness, struggles finding work, and I lost my relationships with my friends and family. I'm now sleeping on a couch, doing temp work and rekindling things with my family. I've also somehow got a girlfriend. I guess things will be fine soon enough. Not reporting sexual harassment at work and quitting on the spot on Black Friday because I was afraid to say something, and now I'm jobless for the time being. Not thinking seriously about what to major in. Kids, pick the kind of major where you can go right into a decent paying job without having to go to grad school also, especially if you'll have debt from undergrad. Believing I was a good judge of people. Turns out liars and cheaters don't ever come out and say that they are horrible people. Gotta judge people by their actions, folks, not their intentions. It's 50/50 between starting to smoke and trying to fix a heroin addict ex-girlfriend while she ducked my friends. Edit. Got a much larger response than expected. Thank you all for the love, and especially the J. Cole thread. Edit 2. My first Reddit gold ermaged. going well out of my way to do something for family. My grandfather passed, and I turned down signing the lease of a new yacht with my best friends around the corner from school for moving in to help support my grandma an hour and a half away in traffic. I would go on to get into a car accident falling asleep on the freeway because of how exhausting the drive was. My grandmother ending up moving to another home, and I was left to tend to my knee injuries all by myself. I hurt my shoulder using crutches, and at one point used a rolling chair to pull myself back and forth to the kitchen. Lost my recruited in my field job, racked up some medical debt, felt the onset of mental disorders from weeks of solitude, dropped classes in my GPA, resented other family and friends for leaving me alone, and suffered a plethora of compensation injuries. No one came to make sure I was okay. No one. This was 3 years ago, and I'm still learning to walk normally again. The one thing I can say is my strength was tested and reinforced. When I close my eyes I can remember moments of making it through things that were far from easy. I also learned to never ever put anyone before yourself. Selfishness was such a bad character trait to me before, but now I see it as a necessity. You have to look out for what you want first and foremost, because no one else will. Dropped out of college to act in a show that got cancelled after the pilot. Took me 14 years to go back to school. Edited to add the second option, not taking my acting seriously enough when I was still young enough to get work. Not having self-confidence from middle school all the way until I was 27. Doing a lot better now that I have self-confidence, but I really set myself back in terms of personal life. Missed out on a bunch of stuff that is long gone. FCK it though, only way to move is forward. Looking forward to where my life goes from here on out. Student loans. I got into the same private university that my dad had attended back in the 70s. They have a great engineering program, and he was so excited for me to follow in his footsteps. Of course the tuition rates had skyrocketed though, as they all have. The money that my parents had saved for college was gone very fast, and the student loans began. I ended up with $100K of student loans at the end of undergrad. Then I accepted a position in their master's program with a full scholarship. 2 years later, when I finished, the interest had ballooned my debt to $115K, and the master's degree truly isn't more useful than 2 years of job experience. Now I'm out of school but financially crippled. All of my income goes to rent and loans. So many aspects of my life are on hold because of this debt. I have friends who got 4-year engineering degrees with 0 loans. Some of them went to the same school and got various scholarships that I didn't qualify for. Others went to less expensive schools. I feel like my whole life is postponed a decade behind this. Choosing the university and program that I chose is by far the biggest mistake of my life. When I was 13, my sister began dating a girl who was older, about 15 or 16, who did things like smoke, drink, and steal. We fell into the wrong crowd and began stealing. I'm not talking about stealing a pack of gum from the corner shop. I'm talking hundreds of pounds worth of clothes, perfume, jewelry, the lot. Our mum caught us a few times. It is still my biggest regret. Only a few people know about it. To this day, I get annoyed at myself for it. I knew it was bad, but did it anyway. I don't do it anymore, but it still bothers me that I did tea in the first place. I put leftover french fries in the microwave once. Only I wasn't sure how long I should put them in for. The microwave had a button that said potato on it, and somewhere in my stoned mind I thought, French fries are made from potatoes. Perfect. Went back to the microwave 3 minutes later, and it was on fire. Had to evacuate the dorms at 2 AM.